When the inspector arrives at your home, they will show you their TUSLA warrant and ID. They will ask you for documentation, your ID, the Childminding Service Handbook, the Child Safeguarding Statement, records of children. These should be fully completed if you're operating a childminding service currently, or blank if you're proposing to run a childminding service, and any risk assessments if they're in place. They will also ask you to identify the children and adults present in the home, to identify the areas of the home used for childminding, to agree an appropriate time and place for feedback. The inspector will observe areas of the home used for childminding, review documentation and have discussions with you and the children if they're present. At the end of the visit, the inspector will meet with you and give you your feedback. On the day of the pre-registration assessment, the following regulations will be assessed. Regulation 5, registration of a childminding service. Regulation 12, maximum numbers of children. Regulation 13, the home. Regulation 17, food and drink. And Regulation 19, the record of the child. Here are some details in relation to how Regulation 5 will be assessed. The inspector will check that you have a printed or digital copy of the Childminding Service Handbook dated and signed, and a completed child safeguarding statement. Here are some details in relation to how Regulation 12 will be assessed. During the pre-registration assessment, the inspector will check that you are caring for a permitted number of children in your home. You can take care of a maximum of 6 children aged 0 to 15 years. Your own children up to the age of 10 years will be counted as part of the children attending the childminding service, if you care for them. You can only take care of 2 children under 15 months, unless all of the children under 15 months are siblings. Your own children over the age of 10 years and your own children who are not in your care are not counted within the maximum numbers. The inspector will check that you're caring for an appropriate number of children in your home, so that the needs of each child attending can be met. For Regulation 13, the inspector will check that your home is safe, suitable and free from hazards for children. External doors, gates and boundary fences are safe and secure. Any risk assessments required have been completed. Your home is comfortably lit, heated and ventilated. The indoors and outdoors are cleaned regularly and maintained in good condition. A functioning toilet and hand washing facility with a hygienic means of hand drying is in the home. A wipeable nappy changing mat and sleepable means of nappy disposal is in the home if it's required. Each child has easy access to suitable toys and materials in the indoor and outdoor spaces. Children have daily access to an outdoor area. There are suitable sleep materials in use, such as cots and bedding, and children sleep in a safe location that are monitored appropriately. A fully stocked first aid kit, easily accessible at all times. Let's move on to Regulation 17. Here the inspector will check that each child attending your service is provided with nutritious, varied and adequate food and drink, suitable for their age, stage of development and the length of time they spend in your service. Here are some details in relation to how Regulation 19 will be assessed. The inspector will check that you have a record of the child completed, if children are in the service, or a template if it is a proposed service. There are 3 possible outcomes when assessing if the regulatory requirements have been met. 1. All requirements are met. This means that your service meets with the requirements for the regulations assessed, and therefore your report will be forwarded to the registration team for registration status decision. 2. Requirements not met. This means that your service has not met the requirements of the regulations and cannot yet progress to registration. You will be issued a draft report and response form where you will be requested to submit corrective actions. 3. Requirements met with actions identified. When all requirements have been met, in some instances, there may also be actions identified during your assessment. This means that you've met the requirements and your service will be recommended for registration. However, issues that do not pose an immediate risk to children were identified. Identified actions will be issued in a separate document, but they won't be published. It is expected that you'll address these actions once registered, as they may be checked at future assessment visits. Please see separate videos in relation to the corrective actions process and the way to submit an appeal of assessment findings.